I know the boy wasn't ready for that. They wasn't ready for that. Yeah, man. Hey. That was the surprise that I got that we had over here for y'all. Like I said, we finally got the intro going. You want to make sure y'all give us a thumbs up, a thumb down on that. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what it do? This is your boys, the Heavy Hitters. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, sir. Hey, like I said, I'm your boy, 6-man KStylzz. To my stage left, as you know him, with the fingers. That's your boy.
I don't know why I'm doing that. I sprinkle some that magic dust and laboratory. That's
exactly. Yeah, like I said, that's your boy, the mad scientist himself, Mad Mike Sports, aka the Great One. And as you know, as you see the guy on the bottom, if you didn't pay attention to the intro, this is the minister. The calm before the storm, the voice of reason himself, Jude, Talk, Sports. I think people feeling the intro. I thought, like I said,
they wasn't expecting that.
They wasn't expecting that, bro. They wasn't expecting that. We worked on that last minute. That was just some last minute stuff right there. We can get better on that. What's going on, people? How y'all doing this evening? As we know, the World Series is coming on here soon. So, hey, we appreciate y'all joining us, even with the game is on. And shouts out to them Braves. You got our support. Let's go ahead and do this for the Hammer and Hank, man. But you already know what we got to do before we start these shows. Jude, Mike, you know what I like to do, right? Are they the real roll call? Okay. I do that thing long enough, boy. That my voice gonna start cracking. But
right.
But
right. I know I can't try it. I can't do it.
Oh yeah. I'm about to say, so definitely we're gonna give shouts out. We ain't gonna shout out everybody right now. There's gonna be the shout outs gonna be gradually through the show. So the first few shout outs we're gonna get Joseph Thornton in the building. We got Asia Green, we got William Amy, we got Jamoris, 58 Gilliam, we got Georgia Red Clay, Brandon Kahuna. Hey, y'all heard that, right? You heard did you hear the notification? It means this thing is about to be cracking tonight. We got Marcus Bell, we got Jerry Bowie, we got Raheem Devine, Brian Peoples, we got Derek, we got Polo DTV, Low Ski, we got the homie himself, ATM 534. That's one of our player partners in the game right there. Hey, you better be on your best behavior dealing with him because he is the receipt man. We got Blackheart, Michael Walker, Tell Sports and Gaming. And we're going to give the last one for right now, Mr. Motivator. Hey, what's going on, fellas? How we doing this evening? How y'all feeling?
Always good after a win, man. Two back-to-back wins. We going in the right direction. We rolling in the right direction at this point. So always good after a victory.
Right.
I think I'm trying to say it. Rolling on the river.
The All right. But it's unpopular belief that a lot of people would say, well, they was against sub 500 teams. Let me tell y'all right now, you beat the motherfuckers that you got to play. Don't give a damn if they over 500.
They never keep that same energy for Mr. 12, that TB12, who been doing it for the last 15, 16, 17 years. He been beating five like that. That division been trash all most of his career. 90% of his career, that division been terrible. So y'all got to keep that same energy.
Right. Oh boy,
man.
I hear some stuff going on in the back. So
y'all hear that? Oh my bad.
Let's go. I'm like,
hey, that's my baby brother. They watching the game. So yeah. I told you we were gonna try to keep the composure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
okay.
The Braves are playing right now, and Soler just hit a home run. We just keep let's get straight to these keys, man. Let's get to these keys.
Exactly. Hey, hold on. Wait a minute. Do you smell that? That smells like a 1-0 lead right now.
A 1-0 lead? Yeah, a 1-0 lead, baby.
All right. So I want to take a couple minutes. I want to make this phrase. This is going to be the phrase of the night here. Before we go ahead and get started, the phrase of tonight's show and of the week is keep the same energy. Mike G, you probably asked me why you say keep the same energy. Why do you think I say that?
Keep the same energy. I think I might know. I may know. I may know.
I don't know. Because the only reason why I'm doing this at the beginning of the show, because I know these folks is gonna be watching here before they downvote everything we say here. So I'm gonna give them something to downvote. When people mention Justin Fields and the struggles that he had, Mike made a video earlier. Didn't say nothing, but it's a lot of people that's in their feelings right now because literally the main thing they said was Justin Fields doesn't have offensive OC that can help him put him in the best positions. When we've literally said in order for a young quarterback to come in and do the damn thing, you need the foundation built. But when we said that, it was an excuse. Now that is happening to the people's champion or the player that they wanted here. Now it sounds like we're bashing a quarterback that they like. No, you got to keep the same energy. But I just wanted to get that out the way. But we also have a $5. Holla. Blackheart said, anyone see Arthur Smith say Matt Ryan is criminally underrated? Yes. The thing about it, the thing about it is when we look at what these people are talking about as far as, like, I saw when he said criminally underrated, but the public perception is, so what? They don't give a damn. As long as he here, they hope the Falcons lose every game as long as he here. You must be talking, and then like I said, and I got the video about Stephen A. Smith and Michael Irvin, how they talking about how it was all his fault in the Super Bowl and stuff like that. I ain't finna get too far into that, man. Let's go ahead and get into this show tonight, man.
Let me just say real quick, Michael Irvin can suck a big chocolate.
Nah, don't, Mike. We ain't finna do it like that, Mike. We ain't gonna do it like that, Mike. We ain't gonna do it like that. We gonna keep it. Look. We gonna keep it. Woosah. We just gonna say Michael Irvin.
I was calm as can be. I just meant what I said.
I know what you said.
I'll just say this. I'll just say this. If anybody should know about help, is Michael Irvin. He benefited from great defenders And I'm talking about one of the best safeties in the history of the game, and Darren Woodson. Ken Norton, he had a plethora of defenders, like the greatest corner of all time he had on his team. And like you gonna say that Matt Ryan benefited from anything? Like you literally had the greatest offensive line in the history of the game, outside of maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers line. Like, you know what I'm saying? And on top of that, one of the greatest running backs of all time, one of the greatest clutch performers in Troy Aikman at the quarterback position. So I'm very disappointed in him. That's why I said I guess I'll be nice. I'll be nice and not say that.
We gonna look. We gonna be nice. We can go off at the end of the show, but right now we gotta be nice, right? Be nice, right? But okay, let's go ahead and get into this show. Okay, so we're dealing with the Carolina Panthers as we speak, coming up this week.
Hold on. You want to say something real quick about that? That's real quick.
Yeah, but I'm gonna do a video about this whole comment, him being criminally underrated. But I do want to just put my little 2 cents in real quick. I think that like you were saying, KStylzz, and like you were saying, Mike, the media, they're getting bullied. They're trying to go with the majority. The majority says that Matt Ryan is below average quarterback. He's the reason the Falcons lost. That's what the majority, that's what the media is pushing. So, like you said, Mike, I'm really disappointed in Michael Irvin, a Hall of Fame. Like, I don't really listen to what Stephen A. Smith says. He never played football. He admitted that. He's a basketball analyst. So anything that Stephen A. Smith says when it comes to football, I basically ignore him. But I feel like Michael Irvin, he knows better. You're a Hall of Famer. And Matt Ryan's going to be a future Hall of Famer. I don't care what nobody says. And his take on First Take about saying that, you know, when Molly brought up, well, Matt Ryan, how many top 10 defenses has he had? When's the last time he had a defense? Both of them got super quiet, and they kind of just brushed over the whole situation. So I'm really disappointed in Michael Irvin, because you're a former player, a former Hall of Fame player. So I don't give him a pass. I give Stephen A. Smith a pass because to me, he doesn't know nothing about football. But when it comes to Michael Irvin, this is what we say here at AFN, and Mike always talks about this. He has a responsibility as a former Hall of Fame player. When you hear something that's being stated that isn't correct, he should have corrected that. And I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna do a whole video about it, but I was really disappointed in him because Mike just talked about it. You had one of the most complete teams of all time. Had a great Hall of Fame head coach, Hall of Fame wide receiver, Hall of Fame running back, a bunch of Hall of Fame offensive linemen, a bunch of Hall of Fame defensive players. Like, come on. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, so yeah. Like I said, I want to save that for the end of the show because we want to get the main thing going on out the way right now. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna focus on these Carolina Panthers today. From what y'all seen, from what the Falcons, and like I said, I've asked Mike this question last night, but I definitely asked you this question. From what you've seen from the Falcons in this past game and what you've seen from Carolina this past game, what is your synopsis about how this game could go before we get to the 3 keys? What's your synopsis on the Carolina Panthers right now?
You want me to take it, or you want Mike to take it first?
I'm gonna let you. We want you the minister. We gotta let you start off and give us the good light.
Okay. break the bread of life. All right.
Break the bread.
Let me break the Bible out real quick. Yeah. The synopsis on the Panthers and this Falcons game coming up. The Panthers are on a 4-game losing streak. So they're coming into this game like really desperate. Like, this is a game that they're coming in like it's this is like a playoff type game. This is going to be a playoff type game. It's going to have a playoff atmosphere. We already know when you play division rivals that it's always tight in those type of games, and you throw the records out the window. You throw away winning streaks and stuff like that out the window. We can go back to the year when the Carolina Panthers was 15-1. And they kind of embarrassed us in that first game. They was on the sideline dancing and stuff like that while the game was still going on, taking pictures and stuff. And then that last game of the season, yeah, we put that one L on their record to make sure they didn't go 16-0 because they disrespected us in that first game. And that's why I always talk about respecting your opponent. So in this game, it's the same exact way. Even though the Panthers are on a 4-game losing streak, the Falcons are going to have to respect their opponent. Yeah, we're kind of riding high. We've won 2 in a row. We found our groove and found our rhythm. But we have to be careful because the Panthers are a team right now that's desperate. Like when you has lost 4 games in a row, they're going to come in here, and we know how teams play on our home field. They're going to come in here ready to prove something that, the last couple of weeks, is not not their true colors. We know that everything kind of revolves around Christian McCaffrey. He's injured. So they're coming in here with a chip on his shoulder. Sam Darnold got benched in the last game, so he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. So I really expect this Panthers team to come in here because it's a rivalry. All the NFC South teams, we hate each other. So they're going to come into this game with a chip on their shoulder. But I think that the Falcons will be ready because we have a coach that doesn't take winning for granted. If you listen to all of the players after the game, Jalen Hawkins, I don't know if you guys got to listen to his post-game press conference, but he sounds like a veteran. For him to be a young player, and the first thing he said was, yeah, I got a pick in this game, but there's a lot of things. Yeah, we won the game, but there's a lot of things we need to clean up. That's what he kept saying over and over again. I pay attention to stuff like that because most teams, when they get a win, it's like everything's perfect. Yeah, we won. We on a winning streak. But everything I heard from all these players is we can get better. We need to improve. Matt Ryan says every game, we need to continue to evolve. We need to get better, meaning they're not getting comfortable. Just because they're winning, they're not comfortable. And that's what I want to hear. Because when Dan Quinn was here, we know when we barely won games, when we won games we were supposed to lose, they were happy. They were dancing in the locker room, all this extra stuff. We heard what happened during the Super Bowl. I'm not going to go into that whole Robert Alford talking about we were popping bottles at halftime. Arthur Smith, Dean Pease, they don't play that. They want to blow teams out. They're not satisfied. And that's what I like about this team. They sound like they're still hungry. Even though we've got 2 back-to-back wins, it sounds like they're not satisfied, that they want to do more, that they want to improve. And you have to continue to improve week to week. If you get comfortable, that's how you get stagnant. Once you start winning and you start getting comfortable thinking that you played a perfect game, that's when you start to lose games. So I really think in this game, it's going to be important that they stay hungry and that they continue to improve.
Yeah, workflow, Dre. Yeah. I'm glad we got the word corrected with synopsis. I definitely appreciate that. But go ahead, Mike. What you think about on Jude's take on that? Well, how you feel about that?
He pretty much did on kind of expand on what he was saying more so about what you don't want to do is do what Jeff Fields did. I'm gonna pick on him. Y'all can go to hell too, but my bad. I said I was gonna be nice. What you don't want to do for a team is give anybody any bulletin board material. When you start running your mouth talking about, oh, the game is slowed down, this is easy. Like, okay, you're gonna see real fast how slow the game is. And right now, the dude on the sideline, you seen the memes. I ain't gotta say nothing. You seen the pictures. You saw it for yourself. This game will humble you quick. This is something that you always state. This game will humble you quick, fast, and only strong survive. So what you don't want to do to a team that is already, we saw it with Miami. Miami has been playing god awful these past few games, but they gave us their best shot. We squeaked it out, but this is what we're talking about. You cannot give these teams any bulletin board material. So that's kind of my summary of the Falcons Panthers is just don't give this team any bulletin board material because at the end of the day, they are man just like you. They trying to earn their paycheck and get their next job. If they get cut, if the team is so happen to not re-sign them, they're free agents. So they playing for their careers. They playing for their families. So these people, they out for it. They don't care if you get hurt. Some of them trying to hurt you on purpose just so they can get another job. So at the end of the day, you do not want to make these guys You know, you don't want to make these guys angry and them upset because again, we got goons in the NFL like Montez Burfict. That dude, he don't care. He will literally knock you out on purpose. I mean, we see in NBA with guys like Solomon Hill. They literally have goons on teams that will come in just to knock you out, make sure you feel the pain. They will give a 15-yard penalty just to make sure Justin Fields knows or Matt Ryan knows or Julio Jones knows you can't be disrespecting us like that. So that right there is the summary of, you know, the first before we get to these keys.
Well, I'm going to keep this short, simple, and stupid. Well, not stupid, but we're going to keep it short and simple. I don't know if people remember the KISS synonym that they learned in high school, which was keep it simple, stupid. Carolina is reeling. We need to bust their ass. That's about as plain and simple as that. But Tony right here said, do you realize that Carolina's quarterback Sam Darnold has thrown 7 interceptions in the last 3 games? Yes, he needs to call on the Ghostbusters right now because he's starting to see ghosts again.
Right.
Ghostbusters.
I don't know what they were thinking.
And then they still in the running trying to get Deshaun Watson. Like, mother, y'all ain't got enough picks to get him. But let's go ahead and get to these 3 keys, man. Let's get into these 3 keys, man. Mike, I'm gonna let you go ahead and start off with the 3 keys. Like, what are the 3 keys the Atlanta Falcons need in order to beat the Carolina Panthers?
I literally have nothing wrote down, so this is gonna be right off the top and just based on Carolina's history this season. The first one is continue to make sure that Sam Darnold continue to see those goals. So at this point in time, if you have not seen the video with DJ Shockley, he was pretty much stating that the Falcons are doing an incredible job of disguising their pressures, and that's like confusing a lot of quarterbacks. If you continue that, I think you'll get a couple of at least 2 opportunities to get interceptions off Sam Darnold. Because like KStylzz said, the dude's seeing ghosts right now. So you continue to disguise the blitzes, disguise your pressure. 2, right now, I think what Arthur Smith is doing with Cordero Patterson is continuing to use him as just a Swiss Army knife and just use him in different spots. So he's the focal point of the offense. Is weird to say that, and that you have a guy like Kyle Pitts, Calvin Ridley. Right now, like he's the most dangerous threat until Calvin Ridley kind of come back around. He's the most dangerous threat on offense. So continue to get him the ball, feed him more. All right, feed him more. That's all you got to do. All right, the third one, feed him more. That's all you got to do. So continue to feed Cordero Patterson. And the third one, and probably the most important, clock management. We got to continue our great clock management and how we. I was extremely happy how we went into halftime. I did a great job of going into halftime, but closing the game. I stated early in this season that it was highly controversial because a lot of people just felt like he should have been more aggressive. And it was for good cause. The reason why I said what he's doing, and we have to understand as fans that we are fans first. But we got to put our fandom aside because what really wins games is the small, intricate details of football, clock management, being able to run the ball and establish the run. So like what the Falcons, if you didn't hear the commentary with Moose Johnson, that's why I love Moose Johnson. He pretty much said that during the game is like, even if you're not getting 5 yards, 6 yards a pop. Just the threat of running the ball on first down in itself is going to open up everything. And Matt Ryan, just that threat of the run, you're going to run the ball even if you get two. The defense has to honor that. So later on in the game, when you're doing that same play action of the same formations, guess what? They're going to bite on those things. And that's why you got Kyle Pitts running on the side. That's why you got Calvin Ridley. You got one of the slowest wide receivers, no disrespect to Russell Gage, wide open downfield because of that play action phase. So continue to run the ball in the third. And continue to run the ball so you can open up play action.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and switch it up. I'm gonna go ahead and go next. We're gonna let the minister gonna be the close guy for this one. He's gonna
be Will Smith tonight, huh? He about to be Will Smith.
But he gonna spit some super fire tonight. But let me go ahead and get mine out the way first before he spit that fire, because I ain't got no fire resistant suit on. So but first thing we got to do against Carolina is we have to win it. And like Mike kind of said, we have to win the turnover battle. Like I said, you got a Carolina offense that's real. You got a Carolina team that's reeling right now. They're not really playing well on both sides of the ball. We have to take advantage, and we have to start being ahead and winning these games right here. Because this is really the interesting stretch of our schedule. When we got Carolina, New Orleans, we got New England, we got Jacksonville, Dallas. I ain't saying it in the right order, but I'm just saying the teams in general. So we have to make a statement here with this stretch. So turnovers is going to be, we have to win the turnover battle. We got to get these turnovers. Like you said, you got Sam Darnold seeing ghosts right now. You got to continue to make him see ghosts. You got to pressure him, get him off the spot, and create those turnovers. Ain't no Christian McCaffrey this week, so you ain't got to worry about that dual threat. I know Chuba Hubbard is kind of a good dual threat right now, but he doesn't give you the same pop as a Christian McCaffrey. 2, you got the first drive is the most important drive right now. You got to score a touchdown on the first drive. You got to set the tone. You got to set the tone offensively to where you are literally having to force these guys to have to do something. This is why we always say, when you come out the gate, it's a big difference between scoring a touchdown on your first drive. It's a big difference with kicking field goal on your first drive, and there's a big difference with punting on your first drive. You score a touchdown on the first drive, now you force Carolina to have to match that. That's called setting the tone. We got to score on the first drive. Those are your 15 to 20 best plays that you have in your playbook that you got scripted. You got to score on those. 3. You got to sack the damn quarterback. You got to finish on those sacks. You got to finish on those tackles. We can't start off with tackling terrible. We can't start off like that. Like I said, the Miami game, and I know we said we wasn't going to talk about the Miami game, but the way that defensively it started off with the tackling was terrible. We don't need that this game. You need to finish on the plays. The defenders, once you get a player wrapped up, when you get in a player's vicinity, you have to finish those tackles. Finish the tackles for losses. Finish the sacks. Don't give up the yak yardage, because you don't want to give these players the confidence that, okay, this team ain't tackling well, so I can get some big plays off of them. So that's about as quick. That's a quick 3 keys right there. But basically just saying, come out swinging, tackle well, create turnovers. Oh yeah. Also, yeah. Also, and the main thing, and I didn't say it, but all this correlates to 60 minutes of football. Make sure I throw that in there. 60 minutes. You can't do it for a couple drives. You got to do it for the whole 60-minute game. Go ahead, G. What you got for him?
Okay, so 3 keys to victory. KStylzz, you was right on point, man. I'm a piggyback on what you said. First key to victory, you want to get off to a fast start in this game. Like I say every week, you don't want to let the Panthers get confident. And another reason that you want to start off fast this week is you're playing at home. We haven't won a home game all season. So if you start off fast, you want to get the crowd into the game. So if we can get out to a fast start, get the crowd into the game, get our fans into the game, it's going to be tough for the Carolina Panthers, because once that crowd gets behind this team on third down, it gets really loud in the stadium. That's when you create penalties, false starts, things of that nature. That's when you get Sam Darnold rattled. So you want to get off to a fast start so you can get your crowd into the game. We don't want to get off to a slow start, kind of how we've been doing at home, and then the fans are looking at you sideways, getting ready to boo you. So you want to come out fast in this game, get your crowd into the game, and also put your foot on the Carolina Panthers' neck. Because if you come out fast in this game, Carolina is going to start thinking, here we go again. You know, we've lost 4 straight games, and maybe we just snake bitten. They're going to start looking around, looking at each other on the sideline. It's going to be similar to our Atlanta Falcons season last year, where every game when the fourth quarter, started, and we started to see that lead start to dwindle. As I always say, backside started to get tight, palms started to get sweaty. So in this game, that's what we want to do to Carolina. Get out to a fast start so you get your home crowd into it, and then that's going to get them routed on the other side. They're going to start making mistakes, start shooting themselves in the foot. 2, second key to victory in this game, KStylzz hit on it again. It's the turnover battle. Turnover battle and field position. And I'm surprised KStylzz didn't hit that because he's a special teams guy. But I'm going to hit it for him. Yeah.
Go ahead. Do the damn thing, man. Do the damn thing.
Yeah, field position is huge, and turnovers are huge because you want to put Matt Ryan in the offense on the short field. We seen last week when Foyer got that interception and ran it down to like the 10, it was an easy touchdown, especially for Arthur Smith, who loves being in the red zone. We're top 4 in the league this year in converting in the red zone. So if you can get an interception, Jalen Hawkins, i.e., who's been on fire as far as, being that playmaker on the defensive side of the ball, taking the ball away. Grady's been doing a great job. I don't know if you guys noticed, like in every single game, he's had at least one play where it's like an impact play. As KStylzz pointed out in our post-game show, he was the reason that Foyer got that interception, because Grady came unblocked pretty much, swim move, got immediate pressure. Tua tried to throw the ball, ball kind of floated in the air, easy interception, inaccurate throw, easy interception for Foyer to run it down to like the 10-yard line. So in this game, win the turnover battle, win the field position battle. Third key to victory in this game, and Mike hit on it as well, is coaching. We have to do a good job in this game with complementary football. We seen it in the last game. Arthur Smith talked about it after the game. We scored at the end of the half, and we got the ball back, and we was able to double them up. So interception in their red zone by Jalen Hawkins. We marched down the field right before halftime, kick a field goal, come back out, get the ball at halftime, score a touchdown. That's a 10-point swing right there. So we have to do the exact same thing in this game. It's going to be those 3 to 4 plays I always talk about in every game. That's going to be the momentum shifters. If you think about last game, those momentum shifters, KStylzz boy AO comes up with the block field goal, which is key because you don't look at it as a big deal when it's in the first quarter. But if you think about it, we won the game by 2 last week. If they get that field goal, you don't win that game. You see what I'm saying? So it's those small, intricate details that we always say here at AFN. Mike's always talks about it. I always see those 3 to 4 plays. Those, when the plays were there to be made last week, we made those plays. If you go back in the beginning of the season to a couple of those games where we had those drops, interceptions against the Washington football team, that's what we talk about. And that's why we say that this team is improving, because last week, every play that there was there to be made, when they needed to step up somebody stepped up, whether it was the block field goal, whether it was the interception in the red zone by Jalen Hawkins, whether it was Kyle Pitts coming up with key catches on third down, whether it was Calvin Ridley coming up with a big catch and actually running forward and getting the first, like those small intricate details, they did it to the T last week. So we just got to do the exact same thing this week. It's complimentary football. When a play is there to be made, I don't care who it is, step up and make a play and cut off the momentum. When the other team is trying to gain momentum, do something to swing the pendulum back on your side. If you do those things in this game, you win this game easy. If you do all of those things, if we play the way we played last week and continue to improve, because that's what we continually talking about, finishing and improving. If they improve, we should easily win this game this week, especially at home.
And I want to add this before we get to the next one too. Is I see a lot of people saying there was actually a comment here. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up right quick. Tony Wright Tony Wright, we call him the stat guy right here because he always bringing in some facts. So he said Falcons are 2-8 at Mercedes-Benz Stadium from 2020 until present, which is totally unacceptable. Well, it's gonna be like that when it's really not a home field advantage when everybody wants them to lose. It's not a home field advantage.
That's why we got to come out fast.
I don't know. Yeah,
that's why we got to come out fast in this game, KStylzz. Like, I understand our fans are fickle. They are fickle. But we got to give them something to cheer about. Like, come out in this game like you came out in London, and we had our foot on the Jets' neck like 17-0. Then those fans are going to be rabid crazy, and the other team, you automatically demoralize. Because not only are we down, but then we're away. So now these people are going to be making noise the whole game on third down, third and long. I'm not going to be able to hit a snap count. Like, we got to come out as much as we should be like the Bills Mafia, where it shouldn't matter that we just rabid fans regardless. For whatever reason, we know how our Atlanta fans are. They wait to see the team do something before they cheer. So give them something to cheer about. Come out in this game, and let them know y'all don't have a chance in this game, and give those fans something to cheer about and get loud about in this game. Unfortunately, we don't have a 12th man here in Atlanta. Unfortunately, we don't have, that rabid fan base, even though we should, because Arthur Blank, we have a nice stadium. I don't know why. Maybe the stadium too nice. Well, we got all of these lounges and stuff inside the stadium where nobody is actually out there watching the game. But yeah, come out and give these guys something to cheer about. You get out to like a 14-0 lead, then you can, cheer the team on. And at this point, you can get, take them out of the game.
Y'all make sure y'all put some fire in there. Like I said, y'all all got put some fire in there. And like I said, everybody done came up with some good points today. Y'all make sure y'all put fire in them chats. And like I said, y'all make sure y'all share this stream. Y'all make sure y'all share Atlanta Falcons Nation. Like I said, we're close to the 2K side of the game. We almost there. And we appreciate everybody that tunes in here for us every week, every day. We got something going on.
Troll free. All right, everybody already know. If you want to stay away from trolls, where trolls don't take over live shows, they don't take over the groups, this is the place for you. So subscribe to not only TalkSports, Atlanta Falcons Nation, 6-Man KStylzz. We are troll free. We don't do that. We don't harbor a lot of negativity. Not to say we won't get it, but we like once it's there, once we see what it is, we address it immediately. So this is why we ask you guys to to share and tell people about Atlanta Falcons Nation, because there's a lot of people just sick of all the negativity. They leaving Facebook group, they leaving Twitter, they leaving every place. So this is the place for you. If you don't want to deal with the negativity, this is the home for you. So tell people about Atlanta Falcons Nation.
Right. And as we always say, we're not for everybody. Like I said, you have a portion of that fan base that thrive on that side of the game, that wants to see this team lose, that don't want to see this team succeed. We're not finna give you that. We're not finna cater to that. Like I said, we call ourselves the bad guys of the Atlanta Falcon content creators. We humbly accept that. But And also, we said also shouts out to Noah Tyndale. Like I said, I know y'all showing him some love right now, but also be tuned for his show on AFN 10:30 late nights. Like I said, if you want your Falcon fix on Wednesdays, Noah Tyndale would definitely, and that show would definitely give you your fix. That's gonna be at 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, shouts out to him. All right, so let's get to the other side of the game here.
Oh.
We got, like I said, Denzel Grill. We're gonna talk about TJ Green later. Drew actually put a video out about TJ Green as well.
Yeah, check that out. That was a good
you make sure you hit that up as well on Drew Talk Sports. But let's get to the other side of the game. Carolina Panthers. What do they need to do in order to win this game? For a lot of people that might be new to the heavy hitters, we doing it different this year. It's 3 keys of victory for not only the Falcons, but the opponents that we are facing. So, Drew, I'm going to let you go ahead and start this one off. What are the 3 keys that Carolina needs to beat the Falcons?
Okay. Before I do that, I just want to give a shout out to my boy Wiz. I had him on my show when I was doing my Wednesday night shows. What's the word? Dirty Bird. We're gonna get him on when we face the Cowboys in a couple weeks to come on and give his thoughts about his Cowboys taking on our Falcons. So shout outs to him before I lose his comment in the chat.
Shout out to Wiz and the boys, man. He good people. Let's say give a shout out to him as well.
Yeah, that's my brother right there. So I just wanted to give him a quick shout out. But 3 keys for Carolina. I'll say the first key to victory is don't play scared in this game. Like, come out in this game like you have nothing to lose. Because right now, without Christian McCaffrey, we're seeing that quarterback is struggling right now. Like, Sam Darnold is really struggling due to Christian McCaffrey being out. And this is what we always talk about with injuries. When guys go down and not having a running game, like this is huge with Christian McCaffrey being out. He's the focal point of that offense. I don't know if you guys got to watch the Monday Night Football game with the New Orleans Saints and the Seattle Seahawks, but I was like, this Saints offense is terrible without Alvin Kamara. Like, he's their whole offense. I don't know if you guys watched the game.
Worst games I've ever watched this year.
Yeah. But I'm like, other than the screen passes and stuff like that and the yak yardage from Alvin Kamara, like, that game was, like I said, it was a horrible game. It was a really horrible game, and they didn't really have many weapons. And that's what I look at when I watch this Panthers team. Like, they have decent wide receivers, but Sam Darnold is just not a proven quarterback. He hasn't proven that he can actually carry a team like we've seen Matt Ryan do for years. With, even if I don't have a running game, I still can pass for 4,000 yards. Sam Darnold haven't proven that. And it's kind of just like we talked about Tua last week when I talked about Miami. You know, you want to put the game in Tua's hands. It's kind of the same thing with Sam Darnold. Somebody put up here that he has 7 interceptions in the last couple games. Like, that just goes to show you right there. Like, if you put the game in his hands and you take that running game away, you make it tough on the Carolina Panthers. So in this game, they got to come out and play like they got nothing to lose. To be honest, I would challenge the Atlanta Falcons corners on the outside. I wouldn't challenge AJ Terrell unless you're trying to be crazy. You know, you're trying to throw a pick. But I would challenge Fabian Monroe because he had a good game last week, to me, I would take my chances deep down the field because to me, sometimes Fabian Monroe can panic at times, and sometimes he gets a little grabby. And if I was them, I would take my chances on the outside with Robbie Anderson. He's a guy that's really fast. Good at tracking the ball deep, kind of like a Deshaun Jackson that used to play with the Eagles. And if I'm them, I'm taking my chances deep down the field against Fabian Monroe and seeing if I can get like a pass interference. You might not get a catch, but Fabian Monroe, from watching him this season, if you go look at his tape, he's kind of been struggling. Like, he had a decent game, but he's kind of been struggling. Second key to victory for the Panthers in this game, they're going to have to get turnovers. They're going to have to, because I don't believe that Sam Darnold, just like I talked about Tua, I don't think that he can go on long sustained drives without a running game. Chuba Hubbard is a guy that I like coming out of the draft, but he's just not Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is a top 3 running back in the game when he's healthy. So because he can do everything, you can line him up as a wide receiver. He's kind of like a Cordero Patterson. Like C-Mac can do everything. He can line up as a wide receiver. He can catch the ball out the backfield. He can run it between the tackles. So their whole offense is kind of he's the focal point. He's the guy. So without him, it's really tough for them. So in this game, Derek Brown, former Auburn defensive tackle, Brian Burns. He's a guy that we really gonna have to watch. I don't know if he's injured or not, but if he plays in this game, he's a guy that I really, really like. He's a guy that a lot of people don't know about as a outside linebacker or defensive end, but he's really good. So he's another guy that can really get after the passer. And if they want to win this game, you're going to have to throw Matt Ryan out of his rhythm, because right now Matt Ryan is in a special rhythm. And once he catches that rhythm, he's in an MVP type rhythm right now, where he's had thrown 10 touchdowns in the last 3 games and 1 interception. And the interception he threw last game, I don't put that on Matt Ryan when Xavier Howard came up with that pick, when Calvin Ridley went through his arms. Matt Ryan has been on the money. So it's going to be very important in this game that they get a turnover, whether they force a fumble, whether they're going to have to do something in this game to try to steal momentum and put their team on a short field. Because if they have to go on long sustained drives, Sam Darnold has proven that he's a turnover machine. And then the third key to victory in this game for the Carolina Panthers is going to come down to coaching. But I don't think they stand a chance in this game as far as coaching wise, because their coaches are still really wet behind the ears. They have 2 former college coaches. The offensive coordinator that was over in LSU, I forget his name. He's really young. And then the head coach that they got from Temple University 2 years ago. I don't like their coaching staff over there. I really think that I don't know if you guys got to hear one of the press conferences, but I actually listened to the press conference of the Carolina Panthers, and their head coach sounds terrible after they lost last week. He sounds like he don't have these guys prepared in these games. So they're going to really, I think they're going to really struggle in this game. I know I'm supposed to be giving them keys to victory, but I really don't see a way they win this game unless the Falcons just come out and, and screw up. As long as we do our thing, I really don't think the Panthers stand a chance, because I feel like their coaching staff is really inept. But if they're going to have to do a better job at putting their guys in positions to succeed, I just don't see it happening. I just think right now the Panthers are just not on the Falcons level at this point. I really think that the Panthers are one of those teams that's kind of in the rebuild. As a lot of people thought the Falcons were rebuilding, but I think Carolina's in a rebuild mode. I think until they change up some things as far as the quarterback and the head coach, they're going to really struggle. So those are pretty much the keys for them. First key to victory is they're going to have to come out aggressive and take deep shots. And I would take deep shots either at the slot position or at Fabian Monroe. 2, they're going to have to get a turnover, run back a kickoff return for a touchdown, punt return. They're going to have to do something out of the ordinary. And 3, their coaching staff is going to have to be better, because they've been terrible. In these last 4 games, they've been terrible. And I'll leave it at that.
Hey, also, we got a $1.99 super chat.
Holla, holla.
Popcorn Movie Games. Holla, holla, holla. He said, we get another win this week.
I agree with you.
And Freddie Freeman just walked. So it is right now 3-0. I know you saw Miss Maggie T with the score update in the chat. Freddie Freeman done walked. All right, Mike. What is your 3 keys for Carolina?
Well, first off, I want to pick it back up with you just said. I just don't think Carolina is very talented. I don't believe in Brian Burns. He's just a speed rusher. And Derek Brown is just not as good as I thought he was. I think he has the potential to be pretty good, but I think he just needs a lot of help, and they just don't have a lot of help. Good gosh. Yeah, they are incredibly happy. I'm assuming that the Braves did something, but again, the first key to victory that I have for Carolina is I don't think that Sam Darnold is just a very confident guy. So I have no idea what you could do to get confidence because he has receivers. He has Terrence Marshall. He has
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore. It's like he has competent receivers, and Chuba Hubbard. He's not like an excellent pass catcher, but he's competent. So it's like he doesn't lack any weapons. He just lacks confidence. So whatever you have to do first and foremost to get him confidence, I don't know, because he completed passes, but from what I'm understanding, he's just not confident in hitting the guys that he should be hitting. So he's pretty much just checking down. So because he's lacking confidence. So first one is obviously get him in some type of rhythm so he can gain confidence. The second one is that that offensive line got to protect. That's just, that offensive line is just god awful. I don't know what they were thinking. Why do you draft a quarterback? Why you trade for a quarterback and you don't get him the adequate help up front? To just, again, it's all about confidence with the quarterback. So if he's not comfortable with the offensive line, as well as the running game, he's just not going to be very good, and they're not going to be very good at offense. And the third one, I'm just going to piggyback off Jude, is just the coaching. Look, I said I was going to be nice, but the hell with that. This bullshit what they got with the NFL with these college coaches. Like, I'm glad Mike Tomlin said what he said today. What the hell the college game got for me? Why the hell am I going to go to college? There's nothing there for him. It's a watered-down version of the NFL. That's not. I don't mean that to be disrespectful, but that's where young high school players learn the game. So why do we bring these coaches who not Nick Saban, who's not Kirby Smart? Why are we bringing these guys to the NFL and then expect them to be leaders of men? Matt Rule ain't done a damn thing. Why is he a head coach? Who the hell is he, for one? I know Mike Bobo. I don't know nothing about no damn Mike Rule. Or whatever the hell his name is. Matt Rule, Mike Rule, whatever the hell his name is. Can nobody tell you? Look, I can guarantee nobody don't really know much about Rule on this damn panel. And somehow he became a head coach. And then Joe Brady. No disrespect to Joe Brady, but he ain't very good. He's only good because of that year that he had with Bureau. So let's just be honest. All these young coaches who are not they're not experienced, they are leaders of men right now. And then you wonder why guys like Sam Darnold are struggling. Because the coaches, they don't have any experience. You got dummies leaving dummies. Again, that's not me trying to be disrespectful, but these guys don't know nothing about the NFL game, and they're trying to teach guys who coming from college the NFL game. That's ass backwards. You can't win that way. You're not going to win that way. This is why you got a guy like Arthur Smith. Yeah, this is his first year. But guess what? He had teachers like the head coach for Green Bay, whatever his name is. But he got him who's been, you got him. He's learned under Kyle Shanahan. He's played under Mike Mularkey. He's played under guys like Dean Pease. And he's learned from guys, the Tennessee head coach right now. But he's learned these guys. He's learned from these guys. But we got guys like Matt Rule in the damn NFL, and these guys have no experience leading men. And then we wonder why guys like Justin Fields struggling, because you got a dummy for a head coach. You got dummies leading dummies, and expect these guys to be Hall of Fame caliber players. NFL has to get to the point where they bringing in experienced guys. Guys like Bill Belichick, who's been in the game for 30, 40 years. Guys like Dean Pease, who's been in the game for 30 years. Wade Phillips, Andy Reid. These guys have been coaching for years. Give these guys the head coach at these positions. Because these young guys, why you think the Rams ain't winning? The Rams ain't winning because they're winning, but they're not winning championships because they got a young head coach who don't really know how to win. He don't know how to win. You see him get to the Super Bowl, and guess what? Yeah, he fails. So I'm gonna just skip the other two and just say these dummies and head coach, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators they need to get their ish together so they can lead me in the proper way. So the hell with all the other two, but that one is the main. That's how Carolina is gonna win. You got to get competent coaching. Period. Point blank. That's how you're gonna beat the Falcons.
I like how that went. Carolina Panthers. What do they need to do to win the game? Yeah, field position is going to be very important for this team. You have Sam Darnold, who's not playing very confidently right now. And you find out that your backup quarterback ain't worth a damn right now, so he's going to have to be confident. You're going to have to shorten the field up for Sam Darnold, which means your special teams is going to be the number one thing that you're going to have to do. Going to have to take over the game. Second key of victory. Your defense is you're going to have to be led by your defense. I know we talk about Derrick Brown, Brian Burns, and stuff like that. But let's be honest. Their tone setter on defense is Patrick Chin. This is their tone setter right now. He's going to have to come up with a play. If he doesn't come up with a play, it is almost damn near no chance in hell for him. But, as Bruce Lee said in Enter the Dragon, never take your eyes off your opponent, even when you bow. Remember that. You never underestimate your opponent. But Patrick Chan is going to have to set the tone for this team. Because Sam Darnold can't do it right now. And 3, that offensive line is going to have to protect. If that offensive line can't stand up to this Falcons pass rush right now, boy, I'm gonna tell you something, boy. Y'all remember Bones, right? Sam Darnold go from seeing ghosts to seeing bones at the end of the damn game. Oh yeah, appreciate Noah Tendell. Yeah, I meant Jeremy Chin. I meant Jeremy Chin. My bad. I had my information wrong, but definitely appreciate it. Jeremy Chin. Good. The reason why I said Patrick Chin, that's the only Chin that I know. But then I remember I said something about Patrick Chin. I said Jeremy Chin. Yeah, Jeremy Chin. So that's an old fault on KStylzz here. Hey, my bad. What did R-Truth say? When he tried the new game, he bad. My bad. This was on me. This was on me. My bad. I had some adult beverages, but it ain't even that. I'm looking at this game at the same time too. So like I said, we good. But yeah, he's gonna have to be the tone setter. Offensive line is gonna have to protect, and they're gonna need field position. Jamor said, I thought I was talking about a double chin. I like, yeah. Ain't no double chins over here, so we good.
No,
Noah said he thought you were talking about Patrick Chung. I was like, maybe that's what he was thinking. Dude used to play for the I had the two names mixed up. I'm about to say, God damn, boy, this Orpheus Brewing Atlanta part-time is pretty good tonight. But I meant Patrick Chin. That's what I meant. Y'all know what I damn meant. Yeah, Jeremy Chin.
King Quest ain't shit, but then he talking about, oh, that's Julio James' cousin. Because I made a mistake and called Julio. I made a mistake and called Julio Jones Julio James last night. Hey, we mess up too now. We ain't perfect over here. I know my ass ain't perfect, so hey, it's all good. But all right, so we got those out the way. Is there anything that y'all want to question that y'all two got that we want to go ahead and address here?
Damn.
Or you want to just go with the Q&A part of the game right now?
Yeah, let's go with the Q&A. We'll kind of we'll get that. And we'll get to that Mike Tomlin, because I really want to get to that Mike Tomlin. Like, that really irritated me. I usually don't do race, but fuck all that tonight. I'm breaking all the rules tonight. That really irritated. As a matter of fact, we'll get to the Q&A right after this, because I think this is important, and I think it's disrespectful to Mike Tomlin, because he's one of the most consistent coaches the game has had. The game has today. His defenses are always on point. He always have playmakers. All his players love him, and that's why I find it disrespectful. You got him not in line for other jobs in the NFL, but you try to lower him to the college game. Like, why, out of all the coaches that we have in the league, again, we got a damn college coach in Carolina who can't win a game. We got Urban Meyer in Jacksonville. He crying and he want to go back to college. And you trying to send a successful Super Bowl winning coach to college? That's disrespectful. And it's only because he's black. Let's just be real. Call a spade a spade. If he was, look, like he said in the video, why the hell y'all don't do this for other coaches? Y'all don't say this to Andy Reid. Y'all don't say this to Bill Belichick and everybody else. Why is it that y'all want to send him to college? He's a Super Bowl winning champ. He's a Super Bowl champ. He's a champion. A former player. All his players love him. Go ahead. All his players love him, but you want to send him back to the college game. That's crazy.
I was about to say, what ain't he really the only coach that's never coached a losing season?
I believe so.
Yeah, I don't think he's never coached a losing season. Well, let me see. Nah, they never coached a losing season.
He's never had a losing season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm looking at it now.
And what you were saying, Mike, I kind of want to piggyback on what you were saying when you were talking about these college coaches getting these opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, we don't want to make it about race, but it's the truth. Like, if we look at the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, what's the guy's name that everybody wanted to get a job and he didn't get a head coaching opportunity? I can't think of his name at the moment.
Eric Bieniemy.
Eric Bieniemy. Yeah. It's like, I would rather have Eric Bieniemy or one of these understudies than somebody from college. Because at least Eric Bieniemy, he has a bunch of NFL experience. Right. Even though he may not be the one calling the plays, he still has been in the NFL long enough at this point where he knows more about the NFL game, like Mike was talking about, than some of these guys that they're pulling out of the college ranks. So that's my problem with the whole thing. It's like, you have a lot of these coaches that are on other staffs. Like, if you look at the Byron Leftwiches, if you look at the Buccaneers staff, and Bruce Arians talked about it. Bruce Arians' whole staff is pretty much African-American and women. If you look at his staff, Todd Bowles, he was another guy that was a head coach. Now he's a defensive coordinator for the Buccaneers. He's more qualified than a lot of these guys that recently have gotten these jobs out of college. Todd Bowles has been in the league a long time. And a lot of the times when these minorities get the opportunity to actually coach, be a head coach of some of these teams, they're given teams that don't have great quarterbacks. Like when Todd Bowles was coaching, I believe he was coaching the Jets at the time when he got a head coaching opportunity. So what I hope, and I think this is what's going to end up happening, I don't see Bruce Arians coaching many more years. And what I think is really going to happen is he's going to want one of his understudies, either Byron Leftwich is going to end up becoming the head coach of Tampa, or Todd Bowles is going to end up becoming the head coach of Tampa, and their team is loaded. And that's what I want to see for the minorities, is them for these guys. And it doesn't mean black, any minority. I feel like they need to get the opportunities, because you have a lot of guys that have been on NFL staffs for a very long time and want opportunities as a head coach. But these owners and these front offices are not giving them the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? They're hiring people that look like them, or they're hiring people that's not qualified. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles, Nick Sirianni. I didn't even know who this guy was.
Man, I don't know what the hell he was.
Sirianni, I was about to say, boy, that sounds like some bullshit right there. When I first saw that, like, really?
Sipping on some sipping on some
Sirianni. Only thing I found out Sirianni was the OC in Indianapolis. I found that out the week before we played the damn fucking Falcons. What?
I knew he was in trouble at his first interview. You go watch Nick Sirianni's first interview. The dude looked like he was
hold on. Let me see.
On suicide. He was looking scared. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Maybe we You already showing the team ain't got no confidence in you.
And that's why I said it's a black issue, and like that's my thing. A lot of these black minorities, like I said, my thing is, even with women, I have no issue with women being coaches, but what I do have an issue with is that it's going to make things uncomfortable, and there should be separate rules for women, because this is a male dominant, and what you don't want to do. And it's not fair to the men in the NFL, because you're forced to treat. I don't necessarily. I'll just come out and say you're forced to treat her like a woman, even if she is a woman. You're in a male-dominated system, so you, in my opinion, you should get whatever comes to you. If he calls you a bitch, that's what you got to take, because guess what? You in a high level test. Like, these dudes are the biggest of the biggest, the beast of the beast, and they ain't trying to hear nothing that you got to say. They call each other out on the field. So I don't want to hear anything about, oh, he touched me this way. They smacking each other on the ass. So don't get mad when he smack you on the ass. Like, these are the things that need to be talked about in the game when you bring in women. These are the things that you need to talk about when you bring in other coaches and whatnot, because these things are a huge problem. And like I said before, it's disrespectful for guys like Eric Bieniemy. It's disrespectful for a guy like Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is a Super Bowl winning coach. All right? He should not have to answer freaking questions about going into college or taking college game. That's disrespectful for him. You know what I'm saying? And I guess the Braves just did something, because I'm hearing somebody else scream again. But yeah, at the end of the day, somebody got to say what's real. And there's a huge problem in the NFL, and not only the NFL, but even the college game, with not hiring not only women as referees, as umpires, in the front office, because I do think women are capable of being talent evaluators, scouters. You don't hear anything about women being scouters in the NFL, which like I said before, that's disrespectful. I know some women that know the game better than some of these dudes out here, but somehow they're not scouters. You can't tell me that a woman can't tell that this guy's a good quarterback or that guy is a good running back. You can't tell me that. And like I said, at the end of the day, things need to change. We got to start calling a spade a spade.
And I'll take it a
is
step
what
further
it is,
too,
even if it makes you uncomfortable. Go ahead, Juke.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'll take it even a step further. You know, we've had numerous players on AFN, and they talked about it. Chuck Smith, Jamal Anderson, you know, Chris Draft, the guys that we've had on, even over in Atlanta Sports Unlimited, Terrence Mathis. Like, you have these guys who've played the game and they played it at a high level. I feel like even these guys need to get opportunities as coaches. And to me, if you've played the game on a high level, you shouldn't have to come in and from the ground level to be able to be a coordinator or a coach. Like, a lot of these guys, they know the game because they played it. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me that Randy Moss, you can't tell me that Terrence Mathis don't know. He couldn't be a wide receiver coach. He couldn't be an offensive coordinator in the league. He played in the league on a very high level. So a lot of these guys that's not even getting the opportunities, the Chuck Smiths, who was a pass rush specialist, you can't tell me that he couldn't come in here and teach these guys and be like a defensive line coach or be a defensive coordinator. He did it on the highest level. So I think that's another thing that we have to look at too, is a lot of these players that played the game, you know what I'm saying, they know a lot about the game, and I feel like they shouldn't be shunned the way that they are as well. Like, a lot of these guys, like they said, the Falcons ain't even looking at them to bring them back and allow them to work with the team and work with the guys. But for years, we've struggled with pass rush. So you can't tell me that a lot of these guys that's done it on the high level couldn't help these young guys and help these guys develop.
Right. And that what it's saying, man. It is, and I ain't gonna say it's sad, but it's kind of letting you know where the mentality of, like you said, with the women, like, you starting to have more women involved in football now, as far as the coaching staffs, and like I said, you're starting to see a lot more of them getting more involved with the team activities and stuff like that. Definitely, yeah, we at a point right now where you have more women that have more football knowledge than most of these guys. And the issue with the guys is now, this is what I was talking about on the Sultry second show, which is Miss Maggie T's show, is now we have a situation now where we have a lot of these guys having this soft mentality, and you have these women that have more of these hard mentalities. So when Mike was talking about dealing with the male testosterone part of the game as far as being coaches, like, they know what they signed up for. You know you're going to be in the locker room where these folks is talking shit. You know these folks going to be talking all this junk and stuff like that. But you have to have a special mentality up here and a toughness up here as well to not only deal with that. That's how you gain respect with these players. Like, Cam Newton got in trouble a few years ago where he told a lady that, I didn't know. Well, paraphrasing it, I forgot what he said exactly, but paraphrasing what he was talking about. Well, I didn't know that you knew about this game. Like I said, the game, like it's evolving now. It's like now you got more women involved in this sport. You got more women involved in knowing what these players' tendencies are. Like I said, it's gonna get to a point now, and I think what's really gonna happen here, and I had a talk with a friend of mine about a week ago about this, is that John Gruden thing that happened. You're gonna see a lot more women. You're gonna see a lot more minorities being coaches, because what happened with John Gruden has put a stain on the NFL's reputation.
Man,
So
it's hitting the Supreme Court. It's going that far. He said a lot of stuff that's just like,
right.
It's some 1960, 1950 crap. That dude was, man. It's not a good sign. Like I said, when the government gets a hold of these documents and emails, it's gonna be a problem.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's why I said you're going to see a lot more women in these coaching staffs. You're going to see a lot more women in these training staffs. You're going to see a lot of more black head coaches getting opportunities. And like you said with the Mike Tomlin thing, like we said, Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season as a head coach. He's been a head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, what about since 2000?
Over a decade.
7. Yep.
2007. He's been a head coach since 2007 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he's never had a winning season. That's almost 14 years.
His worst record is 8-8, which was in 2012.
Like I said, that's over 14 years and never had a losing season. And if you're trying to relegate him to going to take a college job, no
disrespect, bro.
You're not going, like I said, you're not going to disrespect nobody like that. Like I said, Cliff Kingsbury never had a winning season in college and got a head coaching job.
Think about that.
Exactly. So we're gonna see a changing of the guard when it comes to these coaches, and we're gonna see a change of the guard when it comes to these organizations within the next few years, to where you're gonna see a lot of black head coaches. And I think the main thing with it is, and Atlanta is one of the few teams, and for a majority black city we live in, we don't talk about this. We have a black GM. Ain't that many of them in the NFL. But the main thing like this city likes to focus on is the fact that Matt Ryan is the quarterback. But we don't talk about the black GM. We don't have, like I said, we don't have that many in the NFL. It's maybe only like 3 or 4 of them in the NFL right now. And we have one of them. So
we have we have owners. We have a ton of black owners. And this is something that it's not a lot. Well, we know we have a lot of black billionaires. There's a ton of black billionaires. Most of them just don't have any interest in buying a team, which is fine. But we do have guys like Warrick Dunn, who is a minority owner of the Atlanta Falcons. So he does have a say in, how the Atlanta Falcons is built, what he thinks. So don't make it. It's not that they don't have minority owners within the entire NFL. That is the case. But when we talk about the head coaching positions, this is where the general consensus is for a lot of NFL coaches. And I'm gonna just say this. As much as people praise Bill Belichick, how many black people you actually seen on his staff? I think Flores is probably the only one.
Brian Flores.
He's probably the only one that and Ted Romeo Cornell. That was about it. So he don't have a ton of African American people on his staff, but he get praised like crazy. You know what I'm saying? So there's a problem in the NFL with not only, like I said, not just, I'm just talking about minorities in itself, Hispanic. We don't see a lot of Asian players, which is disrespectful in my opinion, because you don't even give these guys a shot. I know plenty of Asian guys that love playing football, but they don't get a shot. You don't give a chance. You don't even give them a chance. Oh, you're a kicker. Yeah, you just go be a kicker. That's what they say. Things need to change.
But like I said, that kind of, but when it comes to it just comes down to geographically what their access to. And like I said, when we look at the majority, as we know, the NFL is like 80% black players. You have to think about it. We have, like I said, that's where our access is like football and basketball, because that's all we got. Because the average black kid ain't playing baseball. Like I said, when you think about it, like average like FBA, which is black people here in America, the average black kid doesn't play baseball. Let's just keep it 100 with it, because what it is we glorify the fame that comes behind like certain athletic avenues, and baseball and football is really like the highest.
Yeah, most of that is because it's just not cheap to play baseball. Man, you got to have about $500 to get all the equipment. So a lot of it is designed that way, and that's why I say a lot of these institutions, they like you can go get a pair of Jordan tennis shoes for $100, but when you go try to get some golf cleats, a baseball glove, you spending $300 just for that in itself. So a lot of this stuff is, designed to keep certain demographics out of their sport anyway, like just by finances alone. And that's why it's important for athletes to give back to their community. It's important for guys like owners like Arthur Blank, who's going into these African American communities and setting up programs so kids can afford. If they want to be the next Tiger Woods, if they want to be the next Simone Biles, and be a gymnast, like these are the reasons why this is important, and we can't underestimate what he's doing.
I want to get this comment right here, and I want to specifically answer this one right here. And Tony Wright was saying, and why there are not more collegiate football players from HBCU schools being drafted into the NFL. There's a lot of talented players from a lot of those schools. The real reason why that is the HBCUs don't have the money. They don't have the money. Like I said, and if you're looking at now with how politics is going, Joe Biden has cut the HBCU budget down from $45 million down to $2 billion. Well, no, it was $45 billion to $2 billion. That's all the HBCUs now. That's the whole budget. So you definitely ain't got enough money. And the thing about it is, with those HBCUs not having that kind of notoriety and not having that kind of money, the NFL is not looking at these schools as once it did back in the day, where money didn't really play. Money didn't really play a big part in football. It was all about the skills. Now,
KStylzz, there's a trick to that, because my sister went to HBCU, but the trick to that, they were getting $45 million, but they weren't getting access. The people that were in charge, they weren't giving the school that money. They were, they were committing fraud and pocketing a lot of that money. So when you take that away, this is why I say we gotta, as a community, we gotta like look out for each other and look out for the kids first, and hold the people accountable who are in charge. We can't allow these people to just get away with this type of stuff. Like my sister won, like they went to the nationals, the MEAC Nationals, and they won. They went to the championship, and she was due $2,000 just for her, and guess what happened? The coaches took it and gave her a couple of $100. They took the $2,000 and gave her a couple of $100. That was it. They won it. The students won it. It was due $2,000. You remember? Do you know how every time Georgia go to these big these bowls, these students are due thousands of dollars, and they give these kids $1,000 and say, "Oh, guess what? This was meant for your home school. This is meant for your classes." And they take all that money from the kids, so them kids end up with $100, $200, if that, and that crap is gone within a day. So we got to start holding. I know this show went a whole lot deeper than what it typically is, but this is, hey, I told you, y'all don't want to know what goes in the mind. I don't want to know what goes on in our mind.
I want to piggyback off that too, because like I said, if you want to kind of know what we're talking about, I actually started reading this book. I actually just started reading it a couple of days ago. It's called The System, which deals with college football and the money aspect and why they use the term student athletes instead of using amateur athletes. Like I said, if y'all ever get a chance, even if it's on Audible, or if you get a chance to kind of read it on Kindle or something like that, definitely check that out. It's a whole lot of stuff that goes behind these colleges and this money. But like getting back to the HBCU part, see, you have to remember back in the 60s, from the 50s all the way up to the 80s, like I said, it was a lot of talent coming out of them HBCUs. Like I said, Jerry Rice, you got Walter Payton. Like I said, these are two guys that are like legitimate two of the greatest HBCU players that ever come out. But like I said, once it started getting to the point where capitalism started taking over and it all became about this money, that's when you start seeing the blue blood schools like the Georgias, the Texas, the Ohio States. Once the alumni started dumping money into the NCAA and all these boosters, sponsorships and TV deals started coming out. See, now the HBCUs didn't have the advantages no more because they didn't have the money like that. You didn't have the alumni like that was willing to put money into these schools to build up these facilities to where, because really when you look at college scouting, a lot of these players not only look at coaching staffs, but they're looking at training facilities. They're looking at these facilities as far as luncheons and strength conditioning and, like I said, proper field equipment and stuff like that. These players are looking for that. This is why Georgia's always up there. This is why Ohio State's always up there. This is why Michigan is always up there. Clemson and these type of schools, because they pump and dump their money into training facilities. There was an interesting stat that by reading that book I was just saying is they was talking about Texas Tech. That was the very first chapter. They was talking about Texas Tech. The book came out in 2012, so this is kind of like an older thing. At 2012, they said Texas Tech spent $13 million on its student population on their students alone. Guess how much money they spent for the student athletes? $93 million on the student athletes. So these schools are pumping more money into their athletic program than they are their actual school program for the average student. There's a lot going on in there.
Y'all all over it, KStylzz, and I seen a comment in the chat. They were talking about what Deion is doing for the HBCUs with him taking the head coaching job at Jackson State, and that's pretty much, he was doing that to bring notoriety to the HBCUs, and he got a bunch of different NFL players to join his staff because he's trying to bring them some notoriety. Like a lot of the top recruits, young high school recruits, are not going to choose an HBCU over, one of those top blue blood schools or, the Power 5 schools, because they want to be on TV and to get the notoriety. You're not going to be seen on, like before Deion went to Jackson State, you're not going to see Jackson State on ESPN. You're not going to see them on ABC, CBS, where if you go to Notre Dame, if you go to Georgia, one of the SEC schools, you're going to be seen on TV. And that's the fastest way, the easiest way to get drafted. Like going the HBCU way at this point, it's hard to get drafted. So I love what Deion is doing as well. I seen someone had put a comment in talking about Deion Sanders. I love him going to the HBCU to bring notoriety back to the HBCUs and to try to get, because Deion Sanders is a former Hall of Famer, he was able to get some more cameras and get some more, NFL scouts and things of that nature to come out to those HBCU games, to bring more eyes to those players, because those players do have talent. Like a lot of the players he mentioned, Jerry Rice, Walter Payton. I mean, it was a lot of guys back in those times, and it's been a lot of guys that's went to smaller schools, like a Terrell Owens that went to the smaller schools, and they're just as good as these guys that's going to these Power 5 schools. Y'all talked a little bit about even the smaller schools that's not HBCUs. I know y'all were talking about Josh Allen going to Wyoming, Carson Wentz going to North Dakota State. You know, you have these guys that go to these smaller schools, and they're just as talented. So it's just about mainly scouting, and it's about going out and seeing, because it's a lot of talent in these smaller schools that a lot of people, you know, don't know about, that are just as good or better. Because y'all were talking about it in your last show that y'all did as far as quarterbacks. You know, the power schools don't have the quarterbacks like these smaller schools that actually run pro schemes or run, you know, pro style offenses where you under center. A lot of these schools, these Power 5 schools, especially if you're playing in like the Big 10 or if you're playing in the Big 12 out west, like for Oregon and a lot of these schools, that's the main reason that people overlook Justin Herbert coming out, because he played at Oregon. So they assumed, okay, he's going to be just like Marcus Mariota and these other quarterbacks, where he's looking to the sideline. He doesn't know how to read defenses and things of that nature. He just only can play out of the shotgun. He can't play under center, under a pro style scheme. So y'all hit the nail right on the head. Like I said, we have to do a better job, and that's a big name right there, Steve McNair. Yeah, he was one of the greatest to play at Alcorn State. Yeah.
Man, hold on. We got some more names here. Tony Wright brought some more names. Bobby Bell, L.C. Greenwood, Willie Brown, Darrell Green, Terrell Owens.
Yeah.
Like they said, at the end of the day, in order for these type of schools to really push out players like that, is going to have to take these big recruit type players to be willing to go to these type of schools. That, like I said, that's where Coach Prime, like I said, Coach Prime is one example. You're going to have like some big name coaches, coaches that these players can relate to. Like,
right.
Oh shit. Wait a minute. I'm like, oh, Deion Sanders coaching this school?
Right.
Oh, I looked up to him. I'm gonna go play for him. Bam.
Now Eddie George coaching, I think.
Eddie George, State. I was about to
Eddie George, Tennessee State.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, Eddie, NFL experience. He know what it's like. Let me go over there. I want some NFL experience.
But that's the reason why you even have guys like like Kane, who's running for mayor and whatnot. It's designed to bring awareness to a lot of areas that typically won't, have or get to see someone special. Like at the end of the day, it becomes a matter of who can you affect as an athlete, as just someone in the public eye. There's always somebody looking up to you in some fashion, some way, sort of fashion. And if you don't have people that's going into these areas, then a lot of these kids won't see or even know that they can make it out of the area. So that's why it's important for you, like a Deion son, to go into a Jackson State, a Tennessee State, and they use what they can do to, to help bring awareness to these schools. So like I said, who the heck would even think about going to Tennessee State, Jackson State, and all these other smaller schools? So, hey man, this is a step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people. Before you get right to that one, but I know a lot of people. It's like saying, "Oh, it's not enough." Well, we got to go back and even back in the 90s, man. A lot of stuff wasn't even able to happen. Like you weren't going to get a Terry Fontenot as a general manager in the 90s. That shit was not going to happen. So we got to take what we have right now, be grateful for it, but not be satisfied. This is only the beginning, and it's going to get better.
That's it. And when we get our opportunities, ball out with it. Like that's why I love that the Falcons are doing well, because now you prove all of the haters and the doubters wrong that say that we can't do A, B, C, and D, and we can't be successful. You know, you got Terry Fontenot in his first year basically taking rags and taking no cap space. We don't have, we didn't have no cap space. You taking a team with no cap space and they got a 500 record. Like, how many GMs could have done that? TD, when he was here, he had all of the money in the world to build a competent team. You bring in a guy that's bringing in a bunch of guys on 1-year deals. You see what I'm saying? And look what he's doing with it. So that just goes to show you, man, when they say we can't, the minorities can't do it, you're seeing it right before your eyes. When you give people opportunity, they can prove the doubters wrong when you get the opportunity to prove them wrong. So that's why I'm really proud of the organization. Arthur Blank for having the foresight, him, giving Terry Fontenot an opportunity, what I'm saying, and just not assuming that he couldn't do the job. And then also Rich McKay, because we know Rich McKay is his right-hand man. Those guys giving Terry Fontenot the opportunity.
And like I said, these are opportunities that, like I said, and I've said before, we don't appreciate those type of opportunities, because when like I said, and I have to call out some of the fans, like we're looking at, well, if the quarterback is this such and such, we don't give a damn what the franchise do. But it's all about taking that next step. Like I said, now you have that black GM. Now you have a GM that these guys can relate to. A guy that's seen it from, backgrounds and stuff like that. But instead of looking at that and like, okay, we're trying to build something that can be appreciated in the next 2 or 3 years, we got fans that shitting on it because of one guy they don't like.
Right.
And it's like, damn, dude, it's a process. You're not going to be guaranteed. And like I said, that's the one thing. You're not going to be guaranteed, even as we are fans, you're not guaranteed to get everything you want. That's just like growing up in a regular ass household. You're not finna get everything you want. That's not what life is about. Like I said, you got to turn you got to turn shit into lemonade sometimes. And this is what's going on right now. And like I said, we can say, even though the Falcons have beaten teams that are under 500, you still got to beat the teams that's on your schedule, no matter what their record is.
That's what
because this wasn't an issue when the schedule came out. This is only an issue. This is only an issue where people want their certain narratives to be pushed and want to be right without looking at the big picture.
We get a few questions before we get a few questions before we kind of close it.
Right. Cause I think we like you said, I think we done got a little bit more.
They're not used to us being knowing a history about just football and sports in general. I don't think they ready for that side yet. Y'all ready for that? Let us know if y'all ready for that type of stuff. We can do that.
Exactly. I want to hit this one up because this right here, this is why Al Davis kind of gets a lot of respect in the league as far as a lot of players, because he was really one of the first ones that started drafting black players. Like you got Jim Brown in Cleveland. You was getting players sprinkled in and there like that. Because you got to remember, in the 50s and 60s, like you had Jim Brown and you had a couple other players, but it was mostly about Paul Hornig or Johnny Unitas and stuff, people like that. But when Al Davis took over, it was about getting the best players available. And he knew that them black folks was the best players available. So I'm finna draft them. That's why Alabama had to look. And I'm going to tell all Alabama fans that are watching us. There was a point in time where Alabama didn't allow black players on their team.
Yeah.
Until they played them USC Trojans that had black players on their team. They realized we ain't competing.
Roasted, toasted.
They got beat by at least 35 points that game. They said, no, we need the black players on the team.
Yeah, I think we need some black players on our team.
Right.
But look, hey, at the end of the day, it's just about equal opportunity for everybody. And that's what it comes down to, man. Just equal opportunity to get everybody a shot to at least be an owner, head coach, player, front office executive, whatever. And that's what it comes down to, man.
Right. Yeah. Andrew G here said everybody wants Fields in Atlanta. Look how he's doing in Chicago. Matt Ryan is definitely better. And here's the thing about this. I want to contemplate on this. Like I said, we have this is why we always said here at AFN, we've been saying this ever since the draft. You have to set a foundation for these young players to come in and transition. This is not the old NFL where you can set a player 2 or 3 years before you be able to catch up on your investment. No, there's no patience in this NFL no more. If you draft the quarterback high, you're expected to play him in the first year. Or maybe year 2. But the issue is if you're bringing in that high-pick quarterback like that, and the guy you're trying to replace him extends to this level going up this way, only thing I say is look at the Green Bay Packers situation. That's all I gotta say. Just look at the Green Bay Packers situation. Now you at a point now where Aaron Rodgers may not leave Green Bay, and now you've literally drafted a quarterback who you paid for 5 years and never paid a snap. So, hey, I'm just saying. So now you've paid that quarterback premium for a rookie quarterback. And like I said, Jordan Love was drafted late in the first round. Imagine what would have happened if you would have drafted a quarterback 4th overall and that same situation happens.
That's a nightmare.
That's a salary cap nightmare. So for those people that saying that we didn't like Justin Fields and such like that, and he should never been in Atlanta. No, it wasn't about that. It was about the money. It was about the cap situation. Because now that, especially 4th overall pick, you're going to be paying at least $30 million guaranteed for the whole contract. So that $30 million that could have went to players that can produce right away,
like a Kyle Pitts,
out the window. Exactly. Out the window. Yes. Because now you're paying $30 million for a motherfucker to sit on the bench for 2, 3, 4 years based on how ascended the quarterback goes. And this is what we've been talking about the whole time. It ain't about laughing at him struggling. It ain't about that. I don't know where these folks is. I don't know where these folks thinking that we're responsible. AFN is responsible for Justin Fields struggling because they damn sure is coming for us. Like we orchestrated the shit.
Yeah, it's Mad Mike's fault. It ain't Matt Ryan's fault. No,
yeah,
it's AFN fault.
It's AFN. Like at this case, it's AFN's fault that Justin Fields struggled.
It's Luke Jackson.
You don't go to know. Yeah.
Luke Jackson's fault.
Luke Jackson's fault.
And the one thing I've noticed about it too, it's the people that says it's our fault, or the people that don't show up or don't be in these chats. But the only time they ever show up when it's a Matt Ryan, if it's a Matt Ryan topic, if Matt Ryan is anywhere near the title of these videos, they will show up real quick. But if Matt Ryan ain't, They ain't nowhere to be found. So who is really the Matt Ryan obsessors? This is why I came up with that term. Jamor said he blamed. Jamor said I blamed you for this.
What?
That's funny.
Exactly.
It's your fault.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah. And this what we say. It's not about laughing at his struggles. We talking to the people that was talking shit. Like, and that's why I said at the beginning of the show, the main phrase tonight is keep the same energy. When we said that you needed an offensive line, you needed an offensive coordinator, you needed a foundation of players that can help you transcend. It was an excuse before the season started. But now the guy that y'all wanted to root for doesn't have that. Now you're using that as a reason why he's struggling. No, keep the same energy.
Look, at the end of the day, you got to have a scheme that has some stability. When the last time the damn Chicago Bears had any type of offensive stability, and you're gonna draft a damn quarterback? Out of all the things that you have, they would have better off trying to draft a running back. Najee. Why? Because they don't have a scheme. And when you don't have a scheme, the best thing for you as a team is to build a running game. Nope, they didn't want to do that. They got greedy, thought that Matt Nagy was the next Andy Reid, and he failed not only once, miserably with Mitch Trubisky, but he's going to fail again and ruin 2 NFL careers. Period, point blank. He's gonna not many coaches get an opportunity to ruin 2 careers. This motherfucker about to ruin 2 careers. Not 1, but 2.
I'll take it a
That
step
gotta
further,
be an
Mike.
NFL record. That right there in itself gotta be an NFL record. A coach ruining a draft pick career. Because this motherfucker literally
No. I think somebody might have broke that record already. Todd Peterson.
Who?
The old coach for the Eagles. Carson Wentz.
Oh, you talking about
Jalen
Doug
Hurts.
Peterson?
Doug Peterson. Yeah. I'm thinking of Todd Peterson. The punt. God, I'm on the road tonight. Just say I'm on the road tonight. Doug Peterson. Jalen Hurts. Carson Wentz. Nick Foles.
But did he really have Jalen Hurts though? I don't think he really had.
Yeah, he had
him
him
last year, just the first year. Last year,
Okay.
Jalen was a rookie. But if you really take a look at it, what the trend is with these coaches that are struggling when they come in initially, it's not being willing to have balance and run the football. Doug Peterson won the Super Bowl with the Eagles. He brought the first Lombardi to Philadelphia in 2017, but they had the number 1 rushing team in the league. And then they went away from the running game, which gets any quarterback in trouble. We've seen it with Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan was, he still has thrown for over 4,000 yards consistently, religiously, but we haven't had winning records. It's the same thing that's going on with Nick Sirianni with the Philadelphia Eagles. And any team you want to look at that's struggling, if you're unbalanced and you make your team one-dimensional, you're not going to be able to win in the NFL that way because you become predictable. Teams can just pin their ears back, and that's pretty much what Dirk Cutter did over the last 2 to 3 years when he was here. You have to be balanced. And we've seen, if you just look at our Atlanta Falcons, we don't have to look no further than our own team. This team looks night and day from last year to this year. We had 4 wins last year. We got 3 wins already. This team is night and day, and it's pretty much the same core unit. Yeah, we made a couple of swaps and brought in Pitts and got rid of Julio, but we really pretty much have the same quarterback. We pretty much have the same foundation. On defense, it's the same foundational players. Grady Jarrett, Deion Jones. The only difference is the coaching. So if you look at any of these head coaches, these offensive-minded head coaches that's ruining quarterbacks, they're not willing to run the football. And then in Chicago, as Mike was talking about, some teams are traditionally known for being a defensive-minded team or offensive-minded team. What I've advised the front office of the Chicago Bears that have ruined that organization is go out and get a defensive-minded coach like a Rex Ryan, like the Don Martindale for the Baltimore Ravens. The Chicago Bears are known as a defensive-minded team. That's their identity. So they need a defensive-minded head coach. You went and brought in a guy like Khalil Mack to be the face of your franchise. You paid him $100 million. So go out and get a defensive coordinator that's going to know how to use him. Why go out and get Matt Nagy, who's an offensive-minded head coach who doesn't know how to use the defensive weapons that they have? The Bears have a lot of weapons on the defensive side of the ball, but they don't have the right defensive coordinator over there calling the plays. So, you know what I'm saying? Some teams are known to be defensive-minded. Some organizations are known for being offensive-minded. For the Chicago Bears, they don't need an offensive-minded head coach. They need a defensive-minded head coach. Or if you're going to have an offensive-minded head coach, like I talked about with the Falcons, you better bring in a defensive coordinator that's been around for a very long time. So Arthur Smith just hired, even though Arthur Smith's a first-time head coach, Dean Pease is one of the best defensive coordinators of all time. So if you're going to bring in a Matt Nagy, you better bring in a Rex Ryan to be your defensive coordinator or you're going to struggle.
It's all about that balance. You got to have that balance. But I say we go ahead and start closing it down. Before I start fucking somebody else's name up tonight, let's go ahead and start closing it down. I fucked up 3 names tonight. I guess I'm just excited the fact that the Braves are up 5-0 right now, so I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah. But I ain't gonna say nothing to us.
Y'all want me to go ahead and say the last couple words for the night?
Yes, sir.
As always, we want to thank y'all for tuning in. We know we took the show a little bit sideways and started talking about collegiate sports and stuff like that. But one thing you know here, we're going to give y'all that barbershop talk. We're going to keep it real with you guys. But we're going to give y'all the stats, facts, and the truth, whether it's about the Falcons or whether it's about sports in general. We appreciate you guys always tuning in. To be quite honest, no disrespect. We're going to respect our opponent in the Carolina Panthers, but it won't much to talk about with the Carolina Panthers. Like, if we handle our business, we continue to improve. And like Mike said, don't give them any bulletin board material. Keep our head down. Stay under the radar. You know, just continue to win games. You know, I really think that this Falcons team and this coaching staff and the front office is doing a great job. I really think that this unit that they have is special. And once we get some actual money to work with, Terry Fontenot and that front office, this team is going to be really dominant. Like right now, we're seeing this team win these close games. Just imagine if we had top tier talent where we were able to go out and get a big name free agent. This team is going to be even more of a threat in the years to come. So I'm loving what they're doing with this front office. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of this young team, and I'm loving the development and these guys continuing to improve. Like you said, you want to be playing your best ball heading towards the playoffs, heading towards the end of the season. It seemed like right now we're trending in the right direction. So with that being said, you guys, make sure you guys hit the like button for us. Hit that subscribe button. If you already haven't hit the subscribe button, we're headed to 2,000 subscribers, not just here on AFN, but also TalkSports. I appreciate each one of you guys. And I'm going to have a video coming for you guys probably tomorrow. I'm going to talk about Matt Ryan and the whole him being criminally underrated. And I'm going to have a lot more videos coming for you guys. A video about Kyle Pitts, who's looking like he's going to possibly have over 1,000 yards receiving as a rookie and possibly being a Pro Bowler this season. And I'm also going to have another video coming for you guys with AJ Terrell. So just stay tuned. It's a lot going on for our Atlanta Falcons. But I appreciate you guys always tuning in every Tuesday night. With that being said, I'll kick it back over to you, KStylzz.
Hey, man, you always know, man. You already know, man. We definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. Like I said, you make sure you continue to support everybody. AFN, TalkSports, AskMADMIKE Sports. Like I said, AFN's almost at the 2K side of the game. Make sure you definitely support your boy 6-man KStylzz. We starting to do the Q&A portions again. People are starting to ask questions again. So
keep coming.
Like I said,
keep bringing it.
Bring them to me. Like I said, it don't have to be just Falcons related. It can be Hawks, It can be any type of sport, life, whatever. I just like to answer folks' questions. I like to answer questions back. But like I said, on the road to 600, we at 509 right now, so I got 91 more to go. But like I said, we definitely appreciate you. If you want to do us a favor, you go ahead and y'all leave y'all comments. During these live shows, when this thing go out, y'all leave comments, tell people to go ahead and watch it. Yes, I do WWE as well. Damn it, I do WWE videos. We do every single damn thing. We can go politics for all I care. I do all of it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like you said, this is all about conversation. This is all about having the topics to talk about. It's all about trying to get an understanding. At the end of the day, what the fuck? Oh, my bad. They showed the moon pie face man on TV. I was like, what the fuck? I guess the moon pie man at the game.
That dude said moon pie man. Like, what the hell that come from?
I just looked up. I just saw the moon pie face man. I like, the fuck?
He didn't say the politics man.
I don't know, boy. You've been dipping in that little bit of the smoky smoke, huh?
No, I ain't done that yet.
that was late like a motherfucker.
No, I'm good. I ain't got to that yet because I really got to that. Oh, this will be a whole comedy act tonight, but no, I ain't gonna do that.
Oh man!
But like I said, like at the end of the day, appreciate everybody. 509 right now. Appreciate all the 509 that subscribe and continue to watch. Like I said, just definitely appreciate it. I don't take this. We here at AFN, like I said, Twisted Torch TV, Rich, J Rock, Madness, Miss Maggie T, Noah Tyndale, like I said, Marquise, Jew, Mike. We don't take this for granted. Hey, we here doing this every day. So definitely just want to make sure just show appreciation that everybody's showing up. Mm-hmm. And I'll kick it. I'll give the behind the back pass to Mad Mike. That you do.
Oh, I'm about to. No, should I shoot that Trae Young or should I goddamn do that John Collins and dunk on motherfuckers?
Do that John Collins. Dunk on their ass.
Well, since you said dunk, that means disrespectful. So I can say something disrespectful. You should have said that, Trae Young.
It's the end of the show. Most of the folks ain't watching this shit. But the thing is, if you don't, I'm about to say that. Like I said, if you're gonna do it, don't go all the way off. Don't go all the way to it. Just leave a little bit. Just leave a little bit to the imagination.
I'll say this.
The Trae Young floater one time.
Okay, a Trae Young floater. I'm a nutmeg him, then turn around to do the Trae Young. How about that? So it's a little bit of a disrespect, but not too much. At the end of the day, get out the dang on feelings. It's not personal when we talk about prospects. As you guys know, I have no problem with even giving, my expectations and thoughts on players. I made a video on Malik Willis. I told you exactly what I think he is, around where I believe that he's best suited for, and we're going to give our honest opinion. We're never going to give you, we're not going to give you the ESPN, Fox, the media aspect of what a prospect is or isn't, because a lot of these guys are just they hyped up to unrealistic expectations, and I this is the reason why I was afraid for Justin Fields. I was afraid for him, for one, because his parents led him astray. As parents, we believe our kids can do any and everything, which is fine, but you got to be realistic.
maybe your son or your son isn't as good as you thought he was. Because one thing is there are so many other players that play the game. He's not the only one who can run a 4-3. He's not the only one who can throw the ball deep. So lots of players can do that. So we gotta help make sure that our players, our kids, are getting not only the best education, but the best experience. And the best experience for Justin Fields, he should have stayed his ass at Georgia. Learn the game. Learn to perfect your craft. He never learned to perfect his craft as a quarterback first. You're born an athlete. But guess what? Matt Ryan was born an athlete also. He was suggested to go. He was expected to go to Georgia Tech and run that option offense. A lot of people don't know that about Matt Ryan. But he had a knee injury that kind of slowed him down, so he wasn't that same athlete anymore. So many athletes have done that they've had injuries and they had to recreate their entire game. I don't know if you guys remember Rick Ankiel. Ankiel was one of the best pitchers in baseball, but he had hit a mental block, and he was just like, all right, we're going to turn you into a hitter now. It's like these are the things you got to learn. You got to learn the small, intricate details in football and sports just in case things don't go your way. And Justin Fields didn't do that. He took the easy way out. He ran to Ohio State, where he really didn't have to learn the game. They were going to play to his strengths. They were going to have him throw the ball deep, hand the ball off to extraordinary talent, and he was going to look good. But he never learned how to play the quarterback position. And this is where I say he was doomed to fail, not because I didn't believe in him, but he did not have the necessary tools to be to take his game to the next level in the NFL on an NFL level. So what you're saying now is not me saying I told you so. It's me saying this is what happens when you don't properly prepare your quarterbacks to succeed. You give these guys these unrealistic expectations, and then you label him goats. You label them goats, and then they end up failing. So at the end of the day, you have to learn the game the proper way in order to succeed. And that's what we're finally seeing with the Atlanta Falcons. They're finally getting things right, the small, intricate details of football. And I end with that. I appreciate everybody for joining us. Go hit that subscribe button at TalkSports, 6-Man KStylzz, as well as Atlanta Falcons Nation. Miss Maggie will be with you tomorrow, more than likely, or at her show. At Suchi Seconds, but all right, hit that subscribe button. Every one of the links are in the description. All right, so please hit that subscribe button. I expect everyone to at the very least get one subscriber for each channel. Thank you, appreciate it, and that's all I got to say about that. In case KStylzz about to roll us out.
To roll out, me and my homies. With the top back, so much money, we can stop that. Hey, like I said, we here at AFN. We appreciate everybody. We ain't here to play. We here to stay. You ain't got to go home.
But you got to get the hell out of here.
Sucker!